The endless darkness of space stretched in every direction, quiet and peaceful, until a massive silver warship cut through the void like a silent blade. This ship was the Celestian Crown, the pride of the Xyrix Empire, and one of the most feared vessels in the galaxy. Its long metallic hull glowed softly as it passed near distant suns, and its engines thrummed with cold, confident power. Inside the command deck, the atmosphere was strict and disciplined. Control panels glowed blue, screens flickered with sensor data, and the air carried the faint smell of metal and energy. At the center stood Admiral Raxer, tall and imposing, with scaled skin that shimmered between shades of silver and blue. His bright yellow eyes scanned the display screens in front of him. He clasped his hands behind his back. "How long until we reach this, Earth?" 3 hours, Admiral, answered Commander Vel, a shorter figure with sharp facial ridges. He tapped quickly on a transparent control screen. "Our scout drones have already entered their solar system. Their defensive technology is minimal. Primitive, even." Admiral Raxer nodded slowly. This was nothing unusual. Many species encountered by the Xyrix Empire had been far behind in technology and culture. Most submitted without much trouble. Some even begged for protection. Raxer expected the same outcome from these humans. "Prepare intimidation formation," he said. "Let them understand what real power looks like." Immediately, 20 warships shifted position behind the Celestian Crown. They aligned themselves with perfect precision, like a wall of destruction moving through space. Each ship carried firepower strong enough to destroy a city from orbit. Commander Vel smirked proudly. "This has worked on over 100 civilizations. Humans will kneel just like the rest." Raxer remained silent but confident. As the fleet approached Earth, the screens flickered with new sensor data. The humans had clearly detected the incoming fleet, and now small ships launched from their orbit. The sight was almost funny. Tiny vessels, slow compared to Xyrix ships, burning chemical fuel instead of using clean plasma reactors. Their designs were clumsy, like someone had built them in a hurry using metal scraps. Commander Vel laughed loudly. "Combustion engines. How do they survive day to day without blowing themselves up?" "Every species begins somewhere," Raxer said, though even he couldn't stop the small smile forming on his face. "Open communication channels. Let us see how they speak." A moment later, the main screen flickered, and a human face appeared. A male human, middle-aged, with a calm but serious expression. He wore a simple blue uniform with several symbols on the shoulders. "This is General Harris, Earth Defense Command," the man said. "Unknown vessels, you have entered restricted human space. Identify yourselves and state your purpose." Admiral Raxer stepped closer to the screen. His tall, 8-foot frame looked even larger when standing at attention. "I am Admiral Raxer of the Xyrix Empire," he announced proudly. "We come with an offer. Your world has been chosen by Emperor Xeron to become part of our empire as a protected territory. Under our guidance, your species will prosper." General Harris's expression did not change. He didn't show fear, nor did he seem impressed. "And what if we do not want this protection?" Harris asked calmly. The question surprised Raxer. Most civilizations were shocked, terrified, or overjoyed during first contact. Very few dared question the Empire. Commander Vel snorted, unable to hold his laughter. "Defend with what? Those metal cans you call ships?" General Harris's eyes hardened, but he did not raise his voice. "We may not have your technology," he said, "but humans value independence, and we will defend it." The communication ended abruptly. Raxer stared at the blank screen. For the first time, a thin layer of doubt touched his mind. These humans were different, bold, reckless, perhaps foolish, or perhaps dangerous. "They cut the transmission," Commander Vel hissed. "The primitives dare insult the Empire." "Send a scout ship," Raxer ordered. "Let us test their reaction." One of the smaller Xyrix vessels broke formation, approaching Earth's orbit where human satellites and space stations floated. Sensors showed increased human activity. "Admiral, the humans launched something," reported a sensor officer. "A small vessel, primitive, but fast." On the screen, a small box-shaped human craft approached the Xyrix scout. Its movements were sharp and controlled, far more impressive than its design suggested. "Are they trying to attack us?" Vel scoffed. "This is ridiculous." But Admiral Raxer sensed danger. Something about this human ship was wrong. "Pull our scout back," he ordered. Too late. The human vessel accelerated, twisting around the Xyrix scout with near-impossible agility. It attached itself to the scout's hull like a metal insect. "What are they doing?" Raxer demanded. A bright white flash filled the viewing screens. When the light faded, the scout ship drifted silently, systems offline. "They disabled one of our ships," Vel shouted. "Explain," Raxer barked. "Electromagnetic pulse," said the science officer. Simple, but used with extreme precision. Shock rippled through the bridge. No newly discovered species had ever disabled an Imperial ship on the first encounter. This was impossible. A new transmission appeared. General Harris again. "That was a warning shot," he said. "We want peace, but we will protect our world. You have 24 hours to leave human space." The screen turned black. Silence. Deep, heavy silence. Finally, Admiral Raxer whispered, "Recall our ships. We will report to the Emperor." As the Xyrix fleet retreated to a safe distance, Raxer stared at the glowing blue planet called Earth. Primitive world. A divided world. A world that had just done the impossible. For the first time in his long military career, the Admiral felt genuine uncertainty. "These humans," he murmured. "They are not like the others." Little did he know, humanity had only just begun to show its power. The Xyrix fleet drifted at the edge of Earth's orbit, watching the blue planet slowly spin. Admiral Raxer stood silent on the command deck of the Celestian Crown, replaying the last transmission from General Harris over and over in his mind. Humans had given them a warning, a real warning, and then they had done something no species had ever done before. They had disabled a Xyrix scout ship. Commander Vel paced angrily behind Raxer, his scaled tail dragging across the floor. "Admiral, we must respond. They embarrassed the Empire. A primitive world should never be allowed to show such disrespect." Raxer didn't answer immediately. His eyes remained locked on the drifting scout ship visible on the main screen. Recovery drones circled around it, trying to restart its systems. "Something is wrong," Raxer said quietly. "Humans should not be capable of this." Vel scoffed. "A lucky strike. A trick. Their machines are crude. They cannot challenge us." But Raxer's instincts whispered otherwise. He had been a warrior for decades. He knew fear when it brushed against him. The humans were too calm, too confident. A species with technology far below the Empire should not behave like this. "Admiral," called the communications officer, turning from her station. "We're receiving another message from Earth." Raxer braced himself. "Put it through." The screen blinked to life. General Harris appeared again, hands folded calmly in front of him. His voice was firm but not hostile. "Admiral Raxer, your scout ship attempted to scan our orbital defense systems without permission. We had to respond. No one was harmed." Raxer felt his pride sting. No one had spoken to him like that in years. General Harris continued, "We prefer peace. But if you threaten our world, we will defend it. The Empire has 24 hours to leave our solar system." The transmission cut. Silence filled the deck again. Commander Vel exploded. "This is unacceptable. We must attack them immediately. Crush their stations. Show them who they are dealing with." Raxer did not react. Instead, he studied the Earth on the display, glowing peacefully beneath its atmosphere. He finally spoke. "If we attack first, the Empire will say we acted without authorization. If we retreat, they will call us weak." Commander Vel leaned forward aggressively. "Then what do we do?" Raxer turned. His eyes were calmer than his voice. "We observe." The command deck erupted with whispers of surprise. Observing was not the Xyrix way. The Empire conquered, demanded, controlled. They did not hesitate. But Raxer raised a hand for silence. "We have tested countless species," he said. But this is the first time a new civilization has reacted like this. Humans are different. He stepped closer to the screen, watching the human satellites orbit the planet like a protective ring. They disabled a scout craft with precision. Not by accident. Not by luck. That human captain knew exactly where to strike. Raxer turned back to his officers. We will gather more information. Send our stealth drones toward their moon bases, their orbital docks, and their military outposts. But this time, no direct approach. Commander Vel clenched his jaw but obeyed. As you command. The stealth mission. Minutes later, for stealth drones launched from the Celestian Crown. They were tiny, almost invisible, built for silent observation. They glided quietly toward Earth's moon, hidden behind electromagnetic cloaking. Drones entering human detection zone, the sensor officer reported. Stay cloaked, Raxer ordered. Let's see how advanced they truly are. For a moment, everything seemed normal. Human satellites drifted peacefully. A cluster of small stations orbited the moon. Then, Admiral, the officer said, voice shaking. Humans have detected our drones. Raxer spun around. Impossible. Our cloaking is perfect. Not to them, sir. They locked on almost instantly. On the screen, several human defense satellites turned as one, pointing toward the incoming stealth drones. Admiral, Vel hissed. Their machines are reacting faster than normal satellites. That shouldn't be possible. Retrieve the drones, Raxer ordered. The drones tried to escape, but they never got the chance. A burst of bright blue light shot from one of the human satellites, an energy beam far more advanced than anything humans were supposed to have. The drones vanished, erased in an instant. The deck fell silent. No species this primitive should have weapons like that, whispered the science officer. Their tech level was supposed to be a century behind ours. Raxer stared at the screen in disbelief. Commander Vel, he said slowly. Explain this. Now. Vel opened his mouth but could not speak. The second human message. Before anyone could react, another message came through. General Harris again. This time he looked disappointed. Admiral Raxer, he said. You promised no further provocation. Yet your fleet continues to send unauthorized probes. Raxer's jaw tightened. You destroyed them. Harris nodded calmly. We defended our borders. Admiral, this does not need to become a conflict. We want peace. But if you keep testing us, we will respond. Raxer's claws dug into his palms. Humans were negotiating from a position of confidence, not fear. That made them dangerous. Harris ended with a final warning. This is the last time we speak politely. Leave our system. Then the screen darkened. The Admiral's fear. The bridge remained quiet until Raxer finally broke the silence. Recall all scouting operations, he said. Maintain safe distance. Commander Vel didn't understand. Admiral, we are retreating? Raxer stared at Earth. Yes, he whispered. For now. He straightened his posture and spoke louder. We must inform the Emperor. Humans may appear primitive, but they are not weak. Something is accelerating their progress. Something we have never seen before. He paused. And if the Empire continues underestimating them, we may be facing a future war unlike any in our history. Commander Roller stood at the center of the control deck, his 4 eyes fixed on the war map floating in front of him. The holomap showed the human ship, still silent, still unmoving, still a mystery. Every second the unknown vessel stayed there. The tension inside the galactic cruiser increased. The crew whispered among themselves, all confused, all scared. Why are they not moving? One officer asked. Maybe they are charging a weapon, another guessed. No one knew, and that scared them even more. A silent giant. The human ship was huge, much larger than anything the Galactic Empire had seen in this remote region of space. No signals came from it, no greetings, no warnings, nothing. It sat in the void like a sleeping monster, watching them without eyes. Roller felt something he never felt before, uncertainty. He had fought many battles. He had won nearly all. But this This felt different. He ordered the scanners to zoom in. As the image sharpened, the alien crew gasped. The hull was smooth, dark, and flawless. No marks, no rust, no damage, as if it had never been touched by war. "Commander," the sensor officer said with a shaking voice, "I detect no engine heat." Roller stiffened. A ship that big should burn like a star. But it was cold. Too cold. "Then how did it arrive?" Roller asked. No one answered. Inside the human ship, deep inside the mysterious vessel, Captain Mira Hayes of the United Terran Fleet walked through the command corridor. Her boots echoed on the metal floor, each step steady, each step calm. She was a legend among her people. Smart, brave, and a leader born for the unknown. Her crew followed behind her. They were prepared, trained, and ready for first contact. "Status report," Mira said. Her tactical officer replied, "Galactic cruiser in front of us. They have not fired. They only observe." "Good," Mira said. Her expression did not change, but her voice carried strength. "We are not here to start a war. We are here to deliver a message." Humanity had finally grown strong enough to step outside their region of space. The arrival was not an accident. It was a declaration that humans were no longer small. Fear on the cruiser. Back on Roller's ship, the panic grew. "Commander, we must retreat," an officer cried. "We do not know their power," another shouted. "If that thing fires once, we will not survive." Roller raised a hand, silencing all of them. "We are soldiers of the Empire," he reminded them. "We do not run because of fear." But inside, Roller understood the truth. This human ship was unlike anything the Empire had ever seen. Even the oldest archives had nothing close to it. He forced himself to remain calm. If he showed fear, the whole crew would collapse. A signal at last. Suddenly, the comms officer froze. "Commander, what is it?" "The human ship. They are sending a transmission." The entire bridge went silent. For the first time since the ship appeared, the unknown spoke. Roller nodded. "Put it on the main screen." The hologram flickered, and then a human face appeared. A young woman, confident and calm. Captain Mira Hayes. Her voice was steady. "Galactic Empire vessel, this is Captain Mira Hayes of the United Terran Fleet. We come with peaceful intentions." Roller's jaw tightened. He had heard many languages, many accents, but this human spoke with clarity and power. There was no fear in her eyes, no weakness. She continued, "We crossed into this sector to announce our presence. Our people are expanding, and we wish to form peaceful relations." Roller studied every detail on the screen. Her uniform, her posture, her calm breathing. This was not the voice of someone who feared him. This was the voice of someone who commanded worlds. Shock in the Empire crew. The bridge erupted in whispers. "She looks so fragile, but she sounds so confident. Are humans stronger than they appear?" Their confusion grew. Their fear followed. Roller held up his hand again. His eyes stayed locked onto the hologram. "Captain Mira Hayes," he finally replied. "Your appearance in our territory is unexpected. You move with technology far beyond what we predicted." Mira gave a small nod. "Humanity has grown quickly." Roller knew she was telling the truth. The Empire had watched humans rise. They were fast. Too fast. Dangerously fast. A test of nerves. Mira spoke again. "We will hold position until your command decides the next step. We do not wish for conflict." Roller felt sweat forming on his palms. Her words were peaceful, but her silence behind them was heavy. Humans were not begging. Humans were not apologizing. Humans were declaring. The arrival was a message. "We are here. We are strong. We are ready." Roller cleared his throat. "We will inform our leadership," he said carefully. "Until then, maintain your distance." "Understood," Mira replied. The screen cut off. A choice that changes history. The bridge fell silent again. Roller could hear the beating hearts of his crew. "Commander," his second officer whispered, "are we at the beginning of a war?" Roller looked back at the dark giant outside his windows. "No," he said quietly. "We are at the beginning of something much bigger." He didn't know what the humans planned. He didn't know how strong their ship truly was. He didn't know if peace would hold. But he knew one thing. The arrival of humanity would change the galaxy forever. The Galactic Empire cruiser drifted silently in space, facing the massive human warship. Every officer on Commander Roller's bridge felt the weight of the moment. Even the air seemed heavier. No one spoke. No one dared to breathe loudly. The humans had contacted them, and now everyone waited for Roller's next move. Galactic Empire High Command calls. The comms officer suddenly stiffened. "Commander, incoming transmission from Imperial High Command." Roller's heart tightened. He knew this would come. He also knew he had no choice but to answer. "Put them through." A large hologram appeared over the command table. The image of Grand Strategist Vorn, one of the most feared minds in the Empire, glowed with cold blue light. His voice was sharp. "Commander Roller, report." Immediately, Roller bowed slightly. "Grand Strategist, we have encountered a human vessel of unknown class. Their technology is far beyond our expectations." Vorn narrowed his eyes. "Define far beyond." Roller took a breath. "Their ship produces no energy signatures, no heat, no emissions. This hull is flawless. We cannot scan inside. The humans claim peaceful intent." The bridge waited. Some trembled. Vorn's face slowly hardened. "Humans, always rising too fast." He tapped something off-screen. "Commander, do not engage. Maintain distance. Observe. Stall them. We must understand this threat before acting." Roller nodded. "Understood." Inside the human flagship, Captain Mira Hayes stood on the command deck, arms crossed behind her back as she watched the galactic cruiser motionless ahead. Her tactical officer stepped up. "Captain, the Empire has received our message. They look uncertain." Mira smiled slightly. "Good. Uncertainty keeps them from firing first." Humanity had prepared for this moment. The arrival was carefully planned, timed, and controlled. They wanted the galaxy to see strength without firing a single shot. Her second officer asked quietly, "Do you think they will accept peaceful contact?" Mira looked at the stars outside the viewport. "The Empire will fear us first. Then they will learn." Empire crew loses nerve. Back on Roller's ship, fear continued to grow. An officer whispered, "Commander, humans were supposed to be primitive last century. How did they build something like that?" Another added, "If this is only one ship, how many more do they have?" Roller raised a hand. "Enough." But even he felt the fear. The humans were unpredictable. They evolved faster than any species in known history, and they didn't follow the rules the galaxy expected. A strange energy pulse. Suddenly, alarms screamed across the bridge. "Commander, the human ship is releasing an energy pulse." Everyone panicked. "Shields up. Brace for impact." The pulse spread around the human ship like a slow-moving wave, soft and harmless-looking, but terrifying simply because it came from the unknown. The wave touched the Empire cruiser. And then, nothing. No explosion. No attack. No damage. The sensors officer stared at his screen. "Commander, the pulse did not harm us. It scanned us." Roller froze. "They scanned us? Through our shields? Through the hull?" The officer nodded fearfully. "Yes, easily." A chill ran through the entire bridge. Humans could read them like an open book. Myra's plan unfolds. On the human ship, Mira watched the pulse data appear. "Full analysis?" she asked. Her science officer nodded. "Their shields are 10 generations behind ours. Hull composition, outdated. Weapon systems, dangerous but predictable." Mira looked calm, but inside she felt a strange mix of confidence and responsibility. They were stronger now, much stronger, but strength meant choices. "No threatening actions," she ordered. "We are explorers first, warriors second." Empire's misinterpretation. But on Roller's ship, the crew didn't see it as exploration. They saw it as a warning. A message. We can see everything. We can reach you. We can break you. One officer cried out, "Commander, we must retreat. They could wipe us out." Roller slammed his fist into the console. "We do not run." He breathed heavily. His mind raced. The humans hadn't attacked even though they clearly could. That meant something else was happening. Something he didn't understand yet. A direct call from Mira. The comms officer suddenly shouted again. "Commander, the humans are calling us." Roller swallowed. "Put it on screen." Captain Mira Hayes appeared again, calm and confident. "Commander Roller," she said, "we detected slight instability in your shield harmonics. We sent a pulse to stabilize the frequency so your ship remains safe." The bridge went silent. They hadn't attacked. They had helped? Roller blinked. "You did what?" Mira repeated. "We stabilized your shields to prevent an accidental collapse." Some officers looked embarrassed. Some confused. Some even hopeful. Humanity's message. Mira continued, "We are not your enemy, but we are here to stay. Humanity seeks peaceful relations, not control." Her voice was steady, strong, and impossible to ignore. "We hope the Empire will choose cooperation." The screen went dark. Roller understands the truth. Roller slowly lowered himself into his command chair. For the first time, he understood the real meaning of the arrival. Humans weren't trying to dominate. They weren't showing force. They were showing capability. Power held gently, but unmistakably. Humans were saying, "We can protect you. We can destroy you. We choose peace." A dangerous choice. Powerful choice. Roller exhaled. "Prepare a response," he said quietly. "We must inform the Empire humans are not what we thought." The Empire cruiser floated quietly, like a wounded animal trying not to provoke a predator. Commander Roller stood with his hands behind his back, pretending to be calm. But inside, his thoughts were racing. The humans were powerful. Too powerful. And yet, they offered peace. Roller couldn't understand them. No Empire species behaved like this. High Command reacts. A loud alert flashed across the bridge. "Commander Roller. Incoming transmission from High Command. Priority red." Red meant emergency. Red meant panic. Red meant the Empire was afraid. Roller nodded sharply. "Put them through." The hologram of Grand Strategist Vorn appeared again, angry and tense. "Commander," Vorn snapped, "explain the energy pulse. Reports say the human ship penetrated your shields." Roller stood tall but spoke calmly. "Grand Strategist, they did not attack. They sent a stabilizing pulse to correct our shield frequency." Silence. Even the hologram seemed confused. "They helped you?" Vorn asked slowly, almost disbelieving. "Yes," Roller replied. "Captain Mira Hayes said it was to avoid accidental shield collapse." High Command officers whispered behind Vorn. Roller heard faint words like strange, dangerous, and unpredictable. Finally, Vorn leaned forward. "Commander, stall them. Do not make agreements. Do not provoke them. We must send our science fleets to study their technology." Roller felt a warning under the words. Study them or weaponize against them. He didn't answer that thought. On the human flagship, Captain Mira Hayes watched the Empire ship carefully. She knew the Empire would be suspicious, aggressive, and frightened. Her first officer stepped closer. "Captain, the Empire is delaying their reply. High Command must be debating." Mira nodded. "Expected. They fear what they do not understand." Her tone stayed calm, but she knew the truth. A single wrong move could trigger war. Her crew awaited orders. "We maintain position," Mira said. "We show patience. We show discipline. That is how trust begins." Empire crew struggles. On Roller's ship, fear continued spreading. One officer nervously adjusted his uniform. "Commander, humans move like they are not afraid of anything." Another added, "Their captain spoke to you like an equal, like we are not superior." Roller turned sharply. "Maybe we are not." The officers froze. No one expected to hear such a sentence from him. Roller continued quietly. Strength is changing in this galaxy. Humans are rising fast. Ignoring that would be foolish. Some officers nodded. Some looked away. But all of them knew he was right. The humans make the next move. Suddenly, the sensor screens lit up. Commander! The human vessel is releasing small drones. The bridge gasped. Tiny dots flew from the human ship, spreading around the sector. Are we under attack? Someone shouted. Roller shook his head slowly. No. Look at their flight path. They are moving in a scan pattern, collecting data. The officer zoomed in. Commander, the drones are completely silent. No engine signature. No heat. They are invisible to our sensors unless very close. Roller felt his throat tighten. Humans had stealth drones more advanced than anything the Empire possessed. Mira explains the drones. A new transmission arrived from the human ship. Captain Mira appeared again. Commander Roller, she said smoothly, we have deployed survey drones. They are scanning the area for safe travel routes. They will not enter your ship's boundaries. Her voice was calm, diplomatic, but firm. Roller nodded. We appreciate the warning. Mira replied, we respect space borders. That is why we inform you. Then she ended the call. The gesture shocked the entire Empire bridge. Respect borders? Who does that? Humans? Don't act like conquerors. The crew exchanged confused looks. Empire debates peace or war. High Command contacted Roller once again. Vorn looked more stressed than before. Commander, intelligence reports indicate humans have expanded by 5 star systems in the last decade. Their growth is explosive. Roller replied, they are not acting like invaders. Vorn's voice hardened. Powerful nations always hide their intentions. Do not trust them too easily. Roller clenched his jaw. He knew Vorn feared losing control. The Empire had been the strongest force for centuries. Now a new challenger appeared. One that didn't bow, didn't threaten, and didn't fear. That made them the most dangerous kind. A private call between leaders. A secure message came directly to Roller's personal console. Message from Captain Mira Hayes' private channel. Roller hesitated, then opened it. Myra's face appeared, softer this time. Commander Roller, I understand the tension on your side. The Empire has reasons to fear. But I want you to know something. Roller leaned closer. Mira continued, humanity remembers its own past. We know what it's like to be small, weak, and ignored. Her eyes held sincerity. That is why we want coexistence, not domination. Roller struggled to respond. This human spoke like someone who carried the weight of her people. He finally said, why tell me this privately? Mira answered, because trust begins with individuals. Empires follow later. Roller felt something shift in his chest. Respect, understanding, possibility, storm on the horizon. As their conversation ended, alarms suddenly blared on both ships. The sensor officer shouted, Commander! Multiple unknown signatures entering the sector. Roller's eyes widened. Not human. Not Empire. Something else. Something fast. Something hostile. Myra's ship sent an emergency alert. Commander Roller, unidentified vessels inbound. Prepare for possible attack. Roller responded instantly. Captain Mira Hayes, we stand with you. Humanity and the Empire, side by side for the first time. And the galaxy was about to change again. The quiet space around Sector 7 suddenly turned violent. The calm blue lights on both ships turned red as alarms blasted through the halls. The Empire crew stumbled to their stations, while the human flagship shifted into full combat readiness. Commander Roller stared at the sensor screen. How many ships? The officer's scales darkened with fear. 6, no 8, no 12 ships. All moving fast. Roller's claws dug into the edge of the console. Unknown ships were rare. Hostile unknown ships were even rarer. 12 at once meant trouble. The human response. On the human flagship Valerian, Captain Mira Hayes gave rapid orders. Shields up. Drone swarm returned to defensive formation. Her crew moved with precision. First Officer Reed called out, "Captain, these signatures, they're not from any Empire or human database." Mira narrowed her eyes, meaning someone else has been watching this sector. She already knew this meeting between humans and the Empire had drawn attention. Somebody wanted to test them, or destroy them. The Empire tries to understand. Back on Roller's ship, panic spread. "Commander, they're broadcasting something. Translate it," Roller ordered. Static filled the bridge, then, "Identify, surrender, resources." Roller felt his chest tighten. These weren't diplomats. These weren't explorers. These were raiders. Unknown, powerful, and hungry. Roller turned toward his comms officer. "Put me through to the human flagship." 2 leaders, 1 problem. The hologram of Captain Mira appeared next to Roller. Her face was calm but serious. "Commander, who are they?" Roller shook his head. "Not ours. Not anyone in the Empire. I believe they came for both of us." Mira nodded. "Then we fight together. No hesitation. No debate. Just unity." Roller admired that. Humans acted fast. Humans acted brave. Humans acted like warriors. The first attack. The unknown ships suddenly accelerated. "Incoming fire!" Mira shouted on her bridge. A storm of plasma blasts filled the dark space. The Empire ship shook violently. The human battleship barely moved. Roller's officer cried out, "Commander, our shields are dropping fast." Another blast hit. Systems sparked. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Panels exploded. Yet the human ship held strong. Human strength revealed. Mira watched the Empire cruiser struggle. "Reed, divert auxiliary shields around their port side. Protect them." Reed blinked. "Captain, you want to shield an Empire ship? Do it." A glowing barrier extended from the human ship, wrapping partially around Roller's cruiser. Roller stared at his display in disbelief. "They are shielding us." For the first time ever in Empire history, another species protected them. Roller whispered to himself, "Humans are different." Empire joins the fight. With new courage flooding his crew, Roller shouted, "Target the closest raider. Fire all cannons." Empire weapons lit up space. 2 shots hit their target. 1 shot tore the enemy's wing. Another ripped through its hull. The raider ship exploded in a fiery burst. Cheers erupted on the Empire bridge. "We got one." Roller allowed himself a small smile. "Then let's get another." Human technology shocks everyone. On the human ship, Mira made her move. "Deploy the gravity lance." Her weapons operator nodded with excitement. Charging, stabilizing, firing. A thin blue beam shot out. Silent, clean, precise. It hit a raider ship dead center. No explosion. No sound. The ship simply collapsed. Crushed inward like paper. Roller gasped. "What weapon is that?" His science officer whispered, "Commander, that is technology far beyond our Empire's level." Roller felt a cold thrill run down his spine. Humans had power the Empire never dreamed of. The raiders regroup. But the fight wasn't over. 6 remaining raider ships circled around, shifting tactics. "They are analyzing our weapons," Reed warned Mira. "They're adapting." Mira replied sharply, "Then let's change the game." She opened a channel to Roller. "Commander, follow our lead. On my signal, drop your forward shields and redirect power to engines." Roller blinked. "Drop shields during combat. That is suicide." Mira shook her head. "It's strategy. Trust me." Roller hesitated, then nodded. "Very well, Captain Hayes. The human strategy." Mira raised her hand. "Signal in 3, 2, 1. Now!" Roller shouted to his crew. "Forward shields down. Engines to full power." Both ships surged forward, straight toward the incoming raiders. The raiders fired wildly, missing every shot. The human flagship emitted a massive EMP wave, but it was directional, straight ahead only. For raider ships froze. Systems dead. Engines silent. Roller couldn't believe it. She disabled half their fleet in one hit. Empire technology could never do this. Final strike. Mira gave the final command. Fire arc missiles. Clean sweep. Dozens of small missiles launched from the human ship. They curved around like living creatures, homing in on every disabled raider ship. Boom, 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 boom. For explosions lit up the darkness. Only 2 raider ships remained, and both immediately retreated. The battle was over. The aftermath. Both ships floated silently in space. Empire crew sat stunned. Human crew stood proud. Commander Roller finally spoke. Captain Mira Hayes, you saved my ship. She smiled softly. We protected each other, Commander. Roller nodded slowly. For the first time, he felt something he never expected. Respect for humans. And maybe trust. But deep down, both leaders knew this was only the beginning. Because if raiders wanted them united or dead, something far worse was coming. The battlefield slowly returned to silence. Broken pieces of raider ships drifted like burned leaves scattered by a storm. The clash was over, but tension still filled the space between the human flagship Valerian and the Empire cruiser Varkas Prime. Both ships had fought. Both ships had survived. And both ships had seen the truth. Together, they were stronger. Commander Roller stood on his damaged bridge, sparks still falling from the ceiling. His officers worked quietly, almost respectfully. Not toward him, but toward the humans. For the first time in Empire history, another species had prevented their defeat. The first calm after battle. A transmission request blinked on Roller's screen. Incoming message from Captain Mira Hayes. Roller straightened his uniform, then nodded. The hologram appeared, Mira standing confidently, though her face showed exhaustion. Commander Roller, she said gently. Your ship took heavy damage. Do you require assistance? Roller paused. Empire pride told him to refuse. Empire logic told him to accept. He chose logic. Yes, Captain Hayes. We would appreciate repairs. Mira nodded. Our engineering drones will arrive shortly. She ended the call. Roller's bridge fell into stunned silence. One officer whispered, Commander, we have fought hundreds of battles. No enemy has ever offered help. Only humans. Roller responded quietly, perhaps that is why they are dangerous. And perhaps that is why they might be our greatest allies. Human drones begin repairs. Within minutes, tiny metallic drones from the human flagship swarmed the Empire cruiser. The Empire crew watched in awe as the drones welded damaged hull sections, replaced fried circuits, and stabilized weakened shields. They repair faster than our entire engineering team, an officer muttered. Roller didn't answer. He only watched, thinking deeply. High Command interrupts. A sudden sharp beeping broke the silence. Commander! High Command is calling again. Roller sighed. He knew what this meant. Grand Strategist Vorn appeared, furious. Commander! You allowed humans to interfere with Empire property. And you fought beside them. Roller stood firm. Grand Strategist, if the humans had not helped, we would be dead. The raiders were far stronger than we expected. Vorn slammed his fist against something off-screen. The Empire does not need human protection. Roller calmly replied. Then High Command should have been here, not me. The officers on his bridge froze. Vorn's expression twisted with anger. From this moment, you will cease all cooperation with the humans. Return immediately. Roller inhaled slowly. He had a choice. Obey fear, or follow truth. The humans reach out. Before Roller could answer Vorn, another message appeared, this time bypassing Empire systems. A direct channel from Captain Mira. Her face appeared beside Vorn's hologram. Commander Roller, Raider distress beacons are active. More enemy ships may arrive soon. Retreating now is not safe. Vorn snapped. Human Captain. You are trespassing on Empire communications. Mira looked at him calmly. You're welcome. Roller almost smiled. 2 voices, 1 decision. Vorn growled. Commander, order your ship to retreat. Now. Mira spoke firmly. Commander, If more raiders arrive, your fleet will never reach home. Roller closed his eyes for a brief moment. The Empire demanded obedience. The humans offered survival. He opened his eyes. Grand Strategist Vorn, with respect, I will remain. The bridge gasped. Vorn's eyes widened. Roller, this is treason. The call ended abruptly. But Roller felt lighter, because for once he made the right choice, preparing for a bigger threat. Mira reopened communication. Commander, we are detecting long-range hypersignals. The raiders sent a message before their destruction. Roller nodded grimly. Reinforcements. Mira replied, most likely. Roller turned to his officers. Begin power reroutes. Ready weapons. Humans and Empire stand together. For the first time ever, they did not argue. A new vision. As both ships worked side by side, Mira opened a private channel again. Her voice was calm, almost friendly. Commander Roller, you know this fight is bigger than today. Roller nodded. Yes, the raiders will return. And more will come. Mira stepped closer to her camera. Then let's formalize something. Pact. A small alliance between our forces. Roller stared at her. An alliance? With humans? Such an idea would shake the Empire to its core. He said softly, why offer us this, Captain Hayes? You have nothing to gain. Mira smiled lightly. We gain peace. We gain friends. We gain a galaxy where humans do not have to fight alone. Roller felt something shift inside him. Your people are strange. Mira chuckled. So we've been told. The alliance begins. Roller extended his hand toward the hologram. A universal gesture copied from humans. Mira mirrored it. A glowing confirmation symbol appeared between them. Alliance Proposal, Human Empire Emergency Cooperation Pact. Roller said the words clearly. I accept. Mira nodded proudly. Then we face the future together, Commander Roller. At that exact moment, multiple warp signatures appeared on the outer edge of the sector. Dozens, possibly hundreds. The raiders were returning, with a full army. Red alarms screamed on both ships. Mira spoke with calm determination. Commander Roller, this is where our alliance is tested. Roller stepped forward. And where our enemies will learn to fear it. The Empire and humanity, two former rivals, now stood side by side, against a threat big enough to shake the galaxy. A new age had begun.